Hi, everybody. I'm Ronnie Shaver from Ronnie's Garage in Southern California. And this is our monthly technical seminar via Zoom. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this list. It's going to be on a 53R type. Never, under any circumstance, fill one of those glass jars when the engine part is hot. Never. Because what will happen is it'll shatter. Trust me. This I know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to loosen that big nut on top. I think it's probably a BS size, huh? As usual. Where'd my big wrench go? I think it's this one. I think it's a 1/2-inch BS. You can get to this one. The nut, there's a big castle nut on top. I'm going to run to my parts department and get a plastic bag. Because what happens, and you'll see once I get it ready to pull off, is all you got to do is tilt that thing. It's going to be full of oil, and it's everywhere. And if you drop it, it's even more everywhere. Heavy duty, 2-gallon freezer bag, Ziploc. And I will, as I unscrew that thing and it wants to fall down, I'm going to try to catch it with this bag. Getting it out will be a different story because they didn't make it in a place to where you just take it out. Not really, huh? So you would think, right, all you engineers out there, that a maintenance item would be changed on a regular basis. So you would think they'd put it in a place that was somewhat convenient. Even on the Arnage, they used up so much space in that engine compartment that they forgot that the oil filter has to come out. So they put it in a place that it fit, but when you pull it out, it dumps oil all over everything. Okay, so right now I've got that nut almost all the way loose on top. And if you want to come over here, you can probably see it better. See that acorn nut, it's called? It's called an acorn nut because it's shaped somewhat like an acorn nut. It covers the threads all the way. I'm going to take a big punch. It's unscrewed, but not all the way. And I'm going to get on top of it just to knock it loose so the can falls down. See how it dropped? Did you guys see that? No? So the nut dropped down, but it didn't let the filter go. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is continue taking that loose. So take your car to Jiffy Lube for this one. That'd be fun to watch those guys. I want to come down. Come on. Oh, there it is. Whoa. Almost lost it. Okay, now we have an oil filter full of oil. You can see the top of it. You see that? And if you tilt that thing too much, it's going to dump all. I'm going to have to ask you to move for a second. I lift it by my bag. Hopefully I don't rip the bag anywhere. And I'm going to wrestle it out of here. That could have been all over your garage floor. So
pretty nifty.
Nifty, yeah. Don't you like that? It only took me about 35 years to figure out how to use a plastic bag with it. So there's hope. I used to just cuss and make a mess. And here, this does not have the original filter. It has a replacement style that actually, yeah. I hope I have the right one. So I'm going to let this drain out. They made two kinds. They made the full flow and the bypass filters. You never know what somebody has put on it before. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in that solvent tank behind you. And we're going to wash that out. And I'm going to go retrieve a filter for this car. Okay, there are modern replacements for these. Originally, this thing had a cage that was screwed together that held this paper metal filter. Okay, this is an aftermarket one, and I have one here that is similar. Right there. That, I don't know if it's going to work on this. It's always an adventure on an old car because they, over the years, people will modify things. I'll raise the car and show you why. First of all, the fastener's on top. Okay. They do make a nice little drain plug here so you can drain it, but they wire tie it. Okay. So that's a good point. This right here is missing something, so I'm going to have to modify it. See, this filter I know will work, but it's got a spring-loaded washer at the bottom that it's going to have to match up with this. See, not this bolt. So here's what I'm going to do. See what I got in my little bag of tricks.
It's not the correct filter just for cost or just
Availability. I get these from England. So if you don't know about those sources, I stock them, so they're readily available here. Now there's also a rubber seal that goes up here on top. Okay. So unless the rubber seal comes down with it, or you have bits of the rubber seal stuck to this, and I do not recommend you try to pull it out of there. And I have changed literally thousands over 40-year span without changing that rubber, without any leaks. The ones that did leak were the ones that I put the rubber in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fish this back in. I don't need my plastic bag now because it's empty and dry. I'm going to feed this back up. There's a long bolt through the center. Whoa, there's a sealing washer in there, so you don't want to lose that. Now I'm going to try to get this back on there and hold it and twist the can from below and start the thread without dropping the nut. Voila. Magic. It seems as though so many of the times when we videotape stuff, we run into things that aren't the way they're supposed to be. It's more real life, I would say, but it's always nice to show people to do things, how to do things the correct way. So now I've got the can up. I'm going to tighten this bolt, or the acorn nut, I should say. You can't see it. Now, if you were a purist, you would fill that with oil before you put it on, but seeing as it is so difficult to get it out when it's full of oil, try to put it back in full of oil too.
Ronnie, do you have a preference for the new style or the old style filter?
Well, it's that later style that I did put in this is made to go in that same retainer cage. So I typically, if it's got the old case, I will go ahead and put the old original style with the felt and all that in there. There is a cost difference of maybe $20–$30 between the two. Okay, so my filter's back on there.